Why do you crave chocolate when you're heartbroken? Why does the smell of cinnamon make you feel inexplicably nostalgic? Why do certain foods comfort you in ways that seem to transcend taste, nutrition, or even childhood memories? According to Paramhansa Yogananda's groundbreaking research into what he called cellular memory, your food cravings aren't random impulses driven by blood sugar or emotional triggers. They're actually your soul's way of accessing experiences, emotions, and even healing wisdom from previous lifetimes. Every craving carries a story. Every food aversion holds a memory. Every comfort food connects you to a version of yourself that lived centuries ago in different cultures, facing different challenges, but sharing the same eternal soul that now inhabits your current body. Yogananda discovered that taste memories survive death because they're encoded not just in your brain, but in what he termed the soul's sensory library, a cosmic database of every experience your consciousness has ever had across all incarnations. Your midnight ice cream craving might be your soul remembering a celebration in 18th century France. Your inexplicable love for spicy food could be cellular memory from a lifetime in ancient India. Your comfort with certain cuisines you've never been exposed to might be your soul recognizing flavors from home, just not the home you remember in this lifetime. For those ready to decode the past life messages hidden in their eating patterns and discover what their cravings reveal about their soul's journey, fearlessly acknowledge this possibility by typing "soul taste" in the comments below. Most nutritionists and psychologists explain food cravings through biochemistry, emotional associations, or learned behaviors from childhood. But Yogananda approached cravings through the revolutionary lens of reincarnation and cellular consciousness. He taught that the soul retains sensory impressions from every lifetime, storing them in what we might call the cosmic memory bank. When certain conditions in your current life mirror emotional or energetic states from previous incarnations, your soul triggers cravings for foods that provided comfort, healing, or significance in those past experiences. This understanding completely transforms how we interpret our relationship with food. Your cravings aren't weaknesses to overcome or random impulses to ignore. They're actually communication from your soul's vast library of experiences. That inexplicable urge for specific foods during emotional moments isn't just comfort eating. It's your soul reaching for remedies that worked in previous lifetimes. The foods you're naturally drawn to without cultural exposure aren't coincidences. They're soul recognition of flavors that once nourished different versions of yourself. When you begin to see cravings as messages rather than problems, you open a fascinating window into your soul's history and healing wisdom. What foods do you crave that seem to have no logical connection to your current life experiences or cultural background? Share your curiosity with a mystery emoji in the comments. I guarantee that by the end of this revelation, you'll never look at your eating patterns the same way again. In the next several minutes, I'll reveal Yogananda's 4 karmic craving categories, profound classifications that decode what your food desires reveal about your soul's past life experiences, unhealed traumas, and even your spiritual mission in this lifetime. These aren't just interesting theories, they're practical tools for understanding your soul's communication and using food consciousness as a pathway to healing and spiritual growth. To receive these life-changing insights with complete openness and integrate them for your highest healing, I invite you to release any judgment about your eating patterns and embrace curiosity about your soul's deeper story. Signal your readiness to explore your karmic food connections by typing "karmic eating" now. Think about the foods you crave most intensely during emotional moments, not just when you're sad, but when you're celebrating, stressed, lonely, or seeking comfort. Yogananda's first karmic category is healing memory cravings. These are desires for foods that your soul remembers as medicine or healing remedies from previous lifetimes. Perhaps you find yourself craving specific teas, herbs, or spices during illness in ways that seem to come from deep, intuitive knowledge rather than learned information. Maybe you're drawn to certain broths, fermented foods, or specific combinations of ingredients that you somehow know will help you feel better, even without nutritional education about their benefits. Or possibly you crave foods from cultures you've never studied, but somehow understand their healing properties instinctively. These cravings emerge because your soul retains memory of how certain foods served as medicine in past incarnations. Perhaps you were a healer, herbalist, or simply someone who learned through necessity which foods could restore balance and vitality. When you honor these cravings mindfully, you're actually accessing ancient healing wisdom that your soul has carried forward to serve your current body's needs. Your soul is essentially saying, I remember what helped us before. Let me guide you to what will help us now. Have you ever craved specific foods during illness or stress that seemed to help in ways you couldn't explain scientifically? The second profound category Yogananda identified is cultural soul memory cravings. These are intense attractions to cuisines, flavors, or cooking methods from cultures you have no conscious connection to in this lifetime, but where your soul spent significant time in previous incarnations. Perhaps you feel inexplicably at home with certain ethnic foods, despite having no family heritage or cultural exposure to explain this affinity. Maybe you find yourself naturally understanding how to prepare dishes from specific regions without formal training, as if the knowledge exists in your hands rather than your mind. Or possibly you experience deep emotional responses, comfort, nostalgia, or even tears when tasting foods from particular cultures, especially during your first exposure to them. These cravings indicate that your soul is recognizing flavors from what it considers home, places where you lived, loved, and created meaningful experiences in past lifetimes. Your soul carries forward not just the memory of these tastes, but the emotional associations of family, celebration, community, and belonging that surrounded them. When you honor these cultural cravings, you're actually nurturing your soul's connection to its broader history and allowing yourself to feel the continuity of your eternal journey across different times and places. What cuisines or flavors have you felt mysteriously drawn to despite having no logical reason for this attraction? Acknowledge this soul recognition by sharing homeland in the comments. The third mystical category is Trauma Resolution Cravings. Sometimes your soul craves foods that were significant during traumatic or challenging experiences in previous lifetimes, not because it wants to relive the trauma, but because it's seeking to complete healing that was interrupted by death or difficult circumstances. Perhaps you find yourself craving very simple, basic foods during times of high stress: bread, rice, simple broths, as if your soul remembers times of scarcity or survival and wants to ensure you feel safe and nourished. Maybe you have intense aversions to certain foods that seem disproportionate to any negative experiences you've had with them in this lifetime, suggesting your soul carries memories of times when those foods were associated with danger, illness, or loss. Or possibly you crave foods that provide deep comfort during emotional healing periods, as if your soul knows exactly what it needs to process and release old wounds. These cravings are your soul's attempt to create different outcomes around food experiences that were once associated with fear, lack, or trauma. By mindfully engaging with these cravings in a safe, abundant context, you can actually help your soul heal and release karmic patterns around nourishment, safety, and self-care that may have been carried forward from previous lifetimes. The fourth and most spiritually significant category Yogananda revealed is Mission Preparation Cravings. These are desires for foods that your soul knows will support your spiritual work, creative expression, or service mission in this lifetime. based on knowledge gained from previous incarnations where you served in similar capacities. Perhaps you find yourself naturally drawn to foods that enhance mental clarity, spiritual sensitivity, or creative energy, even without conscious knowledge of their properties. Maybe you crave foods that support meditation, intuitive development, or healing work, as if your soul remembers what nourished these capacities in past lifetimes when you served as a spiritual teacher, artist, or healer. Or possibly you're drawn to specific foods before important spiritual work, creative projects, or service activities, trusting an inner knowing about what will best support your highest contribution. These cravings indicate that your soul is preparing your physical vessel for the work you came here to do, drawing on wisdom gained from previous lifetimes where you learned which foods best supported your spiritual gifts and service capacities. When you honor these mission preparation cravings, you're actually collaborating with your soul's wisdom to optimize your ability to fulfill your life purpose and serve others effectively. Which of these 4 karmic craving categories resonates most strongly with your eating patterns? Can you identify specific foods or food experiences that might be messages from your soul's past life journey? Share your insights in the comments below. Now let's explore how to work consciously with your karmic food connections for healing and spiritual growth. Yogananda taught specific practices to decode and honor your soul's food wisdom while maintaining healthy eating patterns. The first technique is the craving dialogue practice. When you experience intense food cravings, especially during emotional moments, pause and ask your soul, what are you trying to tell me through this craving? What memory, need, or healing are you seeking to address? Then mindfully consume a small amount of the craved food while staying present to any emotions, memories, or insights that arise. This practice transforms unconscious eating into conscious communication with your soul's wisdom. The second method is the cultural food meditation. When you feel drawn to cuisines from unfamiliar cultures, research their traditional preparation methods and eat them mindfully while asking, what does my soul remember about this place, these people, these flavors? Often, profound insights about past life experiences will emerge during these meditative eating sessions. The third and most powerful practice Yogananda recommended is the healing food ritual. When your soul craves specific foods during illness, stress, or emotional healing periods, honor these cravings as medicine by preparing and consuming them with conscious gratitude and healing intention. Before eating, place your hands over the food and silently communicate, I receive this nourishment as healing wisdom from my soul's journey. May this food serve my highest healing and help me release what no longer serves my growth. This practice transforms comfort eating into sacred healing ritual and often accelerates both physical and emotional recovery. These techniques will help you develop a conscious partnership with your soul's food wisdom while maintaining healthy eating habits. To ensure you can access these transformative practices whenever you want to decode your cravings' deeper messages, preserve the Soul Nourishment Wisdom Collection from this spiritual exploration. Let me share an extraordinary story that demonstrates the profound healing possible when we honor our soul's food wisdom. Yogananda worked with a student named Isabella, who suffered from chronic digestive issues that no medical treatment could resolve. During their sessions, Isabella mentioned her inexplicable craving for very specific Italian foods, not just any Italian cuisine, but particular regional dishes from Tuscany that she had never tasted, but somehow knew how to prepare. She also experienced intense emotional responses when eating these foods, often feeling overwhelming nostalgia and sometimes even crying without understanding why. Yogananda guided Isabella through past life regression and discovered that she had lived multiple lifetimes in Tuscan farming communities, where she had been both a healer and a cook who used food as medicine for her community. In one particularly significant lifetime, She had died young from a digestive illness before completing important healing work she felt called to do. Yogananda explained that her current digestive issues were her soul's way of calling attention to unfinished healing business from that lifetime, and her cravings for specific Tuscan foods were her soul's attempt to access the healing wisdom she had developed but never fully utilized. He guided Isabella to honor these cravings mindfully, preparing the traditional foods with healing intention and gratitude for the wisdom they carried. As Isabella began working consciously with her soul's food memories, her digestive issues gradually resolved, and she discovered a natural gift for using food as healing medicine for others. She eventually became a holistic nutritionist specializing in traditional Italian healing foods, fulfilling the healing mission her soul had carried forward from previous lifetimes. Years later, Isabella reflected, "Master, I thought my cravings were just emotional eating, but they were actually my soul trying to heal itself and complete its mission through food wisdom." If this story opens new understanding about your own relationship with food and healing, or if you're curious about other examples of souls healing through food consciousness, share your interest by typing "food healing" in the comments. Here's Yogananda's most profound insight about karmic eating. Your relationship with food is actually a microcosm of your relationship with life itself. How you approach nourishment, whether with guilt, mindfulness, gratitude, or unconsciousness, reflects how you approach receiving all of life's gifts and lessons. When you begin to see your cravings as soul communication rather than weaknesses, you develop a more compassionate and wise relationship, not just with food, but with all your desires and impulses. You start to understand that your soul is constantly trying to guide you toward healing, growth, and fulfillment through every aspect of your human experience, including the most basic act of nourishing your body. Your food choices become opportunities for spiritual practice, self-discovery, and even service to others as you learn to honor your soul's wisdom while maintaining healthy boundaries and conscious choices. Yogananda taught that the soul that can listen to its own wisdom through the language of desire, whether for food, beauty, connection, or growth, becomes a conscious participant in its own evolution. Such a soul transforms every meal into a meditation, every craving into a conversation, and every act of nourishment into an opportunity for deeper self-understanding and healing. Udi, when you honor your soul's food wisdom, while maintaining conscious choice about what serves your highest good, you create a beautiful balance between spiritual intuition and practical health that serves both your current body and your eternal journey. In our next exploration, we'll delve into another fascinating aspect of how your soul communicates through your physical experience. We'll discover how the seemingly random aches, pains, and physical sensations you experience might actually be your body's way of processing and releasing karmic patterns from previous lifetimes. Why your body hurts in strange places, past life trauma stored in your cells, Yogananda's body memory map, will reveal how your soul uses physical sensation to heal old wounds and complete unfinished emotional business from previous incarnations. This exploration will show you how to decode your body's messages and transform physical discomfort into spiritual healing and karmic resolution. To prepare your consciousness for these profound revelations about the soul-body connection and ensure you can receive these healing insights with maximum benefit, cultivate the body wisdom awareness within yourself and attune to the cellular healing frequency through your openness to this deeper understanding of physical experience.